Nice holiday break. Everyone's back on the grind. Happy New Year to everyone. And welcome to the second Twitter Space X Space on Polkadot Dapps. And today we're discussing all things DeFi in the Polkadot ecosystem. If you weren't aware already, there's now a Dapps page on Polkadot's official website, polkadot.network. You can go to the top of the website, click on Ecosystem, and then from there, click on Dapps, and you'll see a directory of all of the dApps in the Polkadot ecosystem. Before I go any further, someone just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Yes, okay, perfect, great. And be sure to follow Polkadot because in the coming weeks, we're gonna have another space on DeFi. We're gonna have a space on gaming, social media, music, NFTs, and much more. So be sure to follow Polkadot, stay up to date with all of those spaces. As I mentioned, today's space is on DeFi, but before we get started, let's get some more listeners in here. If you wouldn't mind just retweeting this space, giving it a like, commenting on it, DM it to a friend. Let's get some more listeners in here. A rising tide lifts all boats. When these projects succeed, the ecosystem succeeds, we all succeed. So help spread the word. Let's get this space trending. I'd also like just to mention to follow all of today's panelists on Twitter. Click on their account, follow them, follow their projects, support them. I'll also give the disclaimer that nothing in here today is financial advice. Always do your own research. And with that, let's jump into the intros and introduce today's speakers. So we have Anna from Centrifuge. Centrifuge is the platform for tokenizing, managing, and investing in diverse portfolio of real-world assets, RWAs. We have Pankaj from Interlay. Interlay is the Bitcoin DeFi via trustless gateway with fiat access and multi-chain support. We have Malte from Zeitgeist, a decentralized network for creating, betting on, and resolving prediction markets. Eli from Moonwell, an open lending and borrowing protocol on Base, Moonbeam, and Moonriver with an intuitive user interface. Saya from Starlay, a lending protocol that allows quick and easy depositing and borrowing of tokens on top of Astar. And we have Nicholas, who's DeFi lead at Parity and co-founder of Velocity Labs. So for today's agenda, I'll hand it over to each of the speakers and they can give a 3 to 5 minute introduction about their project, what they're working on, their dApp. And then from there, we'll hand it over to Nicholas and he can prompt some questions and we can have an open discussion. So without further ado, let's hand it over to Anna from Centrifuge.
Hey everyone, my name is Anna. I'm a product manager at Centrifuge. I've been a contributor at Centrifuge for more than 2 years now. And Centrifuge is a decentralized protocol that allows for tokenization of real-world assets, which could be private assets and public assets, so could be treasury bills, but also fix and flip loans. And then enabling these assets to be represented as NFTs on the blockchain. And then Centrifuge is also the first protocol to connect individual and institutional investors with qualified borrowers through a single institutional ecosystem. At the moment, we have a total assets finance of 495 million. And maybe I'll just quickly share because it's the beginning of the year and 2023 was really eventful for us because we actually announced also mainnet on multiple chains. So we launched our product called Liquidity Pools and really rolled out our multi-chain strategy. So now you can also access our product on other EVM chains, for example, Arbitrum Base or Celo. We also released a lot of new app features, including a new portfolio page, as well as a new investor dashboard for our DAO Treasury product, and we migrated to USDC. So, another big announcement was that we also joined, that Frex and Aave joined us, as well as Web3 Foundation to be the first investor in the Treasury bill product on Centrifuge app. Okay, handing over to...
Yes, we can. Thank you, Anna, for that. It'll be nice to hear from Centrifuge. Real-world assets is a strong narrative, and definitely a really great use case for Web3. So excited to hear more about that later. Next, we'll go over to Pankaj from Interlay.
Hey, I trust you can hear me well.
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, hey guys, I'm Pankaj. I am handling the social and community side of Intelli. And to set some context as to what Intelli is, in many ways, Bitcoin for so long has been excluded from the DeFi narrative and the DeFi products due to its inability to support robust programmable apps directly on the Bitcoin chain. And this has resulted in Bitcoin paradoxically being logged into centralized finance with very few DeFi options available. And here's where Intelli comes in. Intelli is the modular layer between Bitcoin and the multi-chain ecosystem that unlocks decentralized financial use cases for Bitcoin. Our vision has always been to help Bitcoin achieve mass adoption, and we are completely decentralized, trustless. So whenever you uh, use our website, use our products, it's your keys in your crypto every step of the way. More on the product side, we have dual functionality. So that means not only do we provide trustless Bitcoin, which you can use on DeFi, which is the bridged asset. We are also DeFi for Bitcoin. That means we have a DeFi hub where there's one-stop shop for all things decentralized Bitcoin finance, featuring Bitcoin swaps, lending, liquidity pools. The Intel network has high throughput and low fees, which is payable in any asset. We also have native stablecoin integrations, which aim to provide an experience that competes even with centralized providers. Um, a bonus is that we also have a fiat on-ramp service with Banksa as a partner. This really helps in making the onboarding easy and making our DApp accessible for people who don't even have a native token. So yeah, that's all. That's all about us. We're all about Bitcoin finance. Handing it over back to you.
Thank you, Pankaj, for that overview of Interlay. Next up, we have Malte from Zeitgeist.
Hey, everybody. I'm Malte, a senior blockchain engineer and researcher at Zeitgeist. So I'm a mathematician by trade. I worked in academia for a while before joining the software development industry a couple of years back, and been studying cryptocurrency since the late 20s. Joined the Zeitgeist organization in early 22, and I'm doing research there into market makers for prediction markets and like the game theoretic concepts of prediction markets in particular, and also developing like on-chain code. And so a bit about Zeitgeist. So Zeitgeist is a protocol about it's a protocol for managing and betting on prediction markets. So what is a prediction market? It's a market like any other. You're trading assets for other assets, but these assets represent outcomes of future events. So a typical prediction market that we might run on our platform would be something like, will the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF be approved in 23? And then you can buy yes or no tokens, and their prices are somewhere between $0 and $1. And depending on what happens, one of these, let's say the ETF is not approved, then the no token redeems for $1 and the yes tokens are worthless. And the other way around if the ETF is approved. So what's so great about that is, first of all, it lets people put their money where their mouth is. Everybody gets to bet on what they believe is right. And also the price, which adjusts as it always does, right, according to supply and demand, the prices of these assets, they actually provide a prediction for how likely the event is. So this market might have provided a prediction for how likely it is that the Bitcoin ETF is approved in 23. And that makes prediction markets not just ways of making money, making bets, but they're also tools for information aggregation, and they've been shown to be considerably more accurate than, let's say, polling or expert opinion in many circumstances. So Zeitgeist started out as a parachain on Kusama. I think it's like the 17th parachain, and we, after launching in late 2020, in early 23, we actually migrated to Polkadot, becoming the second parachain to actually make that move after Kilt, I believe, and actually the first ones to document that process so that others might follow. And since then, we've vastly extended our array of features, if you will. So we now have in place like a Claros-style court system on our chain, which is used for resolving disputes over the reports that oracles hand in. And we've also opened XCM channels to HydroDex and Moonbeam, and we're in the process of onboarding new currencies which are used as collateral in these markets that I just described. Namely, we're talking about DOT and USDC here. And we also ran a very successful marketing campaign late last year with CoinDesk, and we have some other partnerships that were very powerful, which I can't mention them all right now. And we're continuously developing and extending, and right now the big upcoming feature is a bunch of new market makers that we will use to facilitate trading on the prediction markets. And well, as for the coming year, Zeitgeist will break into on-chain governance by using prediction markets to evaluate the effects of passing or failing proposals. So by allowing users to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to political decisions, and by properly incentivizing them to correctly evaluate the value of these proposals, we hope to get rid of unnecessary back and forth discussion and unnecessary emotion from this governance process and move it into kind of more matured state where proposals are evaluated by what their effects are going to be, and these effects are predicted using prediction markets. And this principle is called futarchy, by the way. And that aside, there's lots of other fun stuff coming to Zeitgeist. We're actually going to break into the on-chain governance stuff in the very, very near future with some big highlighted markets. So keep your eyes open for that. But I think that's just about all I should mention now. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Malte. Yeah, it's really fun to go into Zeitgeist and check out some of the markets. I mean, I'm browsing there now. You have, will Rafael Nadal play in the 2024 Australian Open? Will Joe Biden be US president? And then also stuff related to the Polkadot ecosystem, as you mentioned, about specific referendum and so on. So encourage everyone to go check those out. Next, we have Eli from Moonwell.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you so much for the invite and for putting this together. Some people may be unaware just how many interesting and innovative apps are on Polkadot. So any effort to spotlight said projects is a big win in my book. But yeah, I'm Eli, or Majin, as I'm known in the Moonwell and Moonbeam communities. I head up communications and community for Lunar Labs, which is the founding contributing team to Moonwell. For those unaware or unfamiliar, Moonwell is an open and decentralized lending and borrowing protocol built on Moonbeam, Moonriver, and Base. We're actually nearing Moonwell's second birthday, as the Moonriver deployment was activated in February of 2021, the Moonbeam deployment in June 2022, and then the Base deployment last August. Simply put, Moonwell enables people to do more with their crypto. This is done by connecting lenders and borrowers in a permissionless and trustless fashion, essentially through smart contract money markets. So with Moonwell, you can supply your crypto, like DOT, for example, to Moonwell, and you not only receive rewards for doing so, but you're also able to borrow against it. Say you need more DOT or ETH for an NFT mint, or maybe USDC to pay someone, Moonwell allows you to do that very, very easily. Moonwell supports a blend of Sama native assets such as XE.dot, XEKSM, Mover, Glimmer, Frax, XEUSDT, and XEUSDC, and also some wormhole wrapped assets like wrap BTC, ETH, and USDC. Moonwell utilizes or leverages the battle-tested Compound V2 as like the foundation for our code base. I mentioned I work for Lunar Labs, but there's also various contributing teams to Moonwell that serve different roles. We have industry leaders in risk management from Gauntlet or Gauntlet Network. We have auditing and security as a service from Halborn Security. Experts in Solidity and smart contract development from Solidity Labs. Very well supported. And that's just a brief overview of what Moonwell is. As far as 2023 and a 2023 summary and a very quick 2024, what's on the horizon. For 2023, I'd say it was definitely a year of evolution for Moonwell. We started the year off by bidding farewell to the Moonwell Apollo and Artemis nomenclature that we had been using, and also to our original lotus flower logo. A very talented designer named Sean Nemitz helped us create not only a brand new logo, but also a unified and scalable brand language. We introduced a brand new Moonwell app that has been rebuilt from the ground up to be intuitive and simple to use. I may have the opportunity to get into this a little more later, but essentially our original app was kind of built by DGens for DGens. And yeah, with this new app, we wanted to really focus and hone in on simplicity and intuitiveness. We also activated the protocol in Base. And Base is a new Ethereum L2 incubated by Coinbase. But in doing so, we are actively exposing Coinbase users and a new, probably more casual and mainstream audience to Polkadot native assets like XE.dot, like Mover, Glimmer, and also the Moonbeam and Mooniver networks. To this brand new audience. We developed a new cross-chain governance framework that we've dubbed temporal governance. This leverages wormhole general message passing and allowed for our community to not only cross-chain activate the new base deployment from Moonbeam, but also allows our community to govern the base deployment from Moonbeam. This framework has been open source and contributed to the broader on-chain community as a public good. So if you're going multi-chain, are curious about how to handle multi-chain protocol governance, please drop by our Discord and we'll be happy to introduce you to temporal governance. A few other quick highlights. I don't want to take up too long. We added 7 new asset markets in 2023. We implemented in-app multilingual support. We passed 80 plus on-chain governance proposals, built Discord bots that provide real-time updates on all governance proposals and market events. We saw new dashboards be built from contributors such as Warden, Gauntlet, and Into the Block that allows for the community to really dive deep into market details and make sure there's no information asymmetry there. We sponsored a $100,000 competitive audit contest with Code Arena, which supplements our engagement with Halborn Security and also our $250,000 Immunify powered bug bounty program. We were successful in a couple grant applications, including a Moonbeam Network ecosystem grant and Optimism's retroactive public goods, round 3. We created a new X-Space series called Moonwell Radio, and we brought on new contributors such as aforementioned Warden Finance, Vector DAO, who helped us design the new DApp, Sean Nemitz, who I mentioned, who helped with the branding, and Solidity Labs, and they're experts in smart contract development. And then just for another minute or two, looking at 2024, we are excited about the Well token. Well is Moonwell's governance token, and it's going multi-chain in 2024. Essentially, it's adopting this new XRC20 token standard that will allow it to be fungible on multiple networks, have the same contract address on every network, and allow for vote from anywhere and stake from anywhere. So users aren't having to wrap and unwrap their well to vote or stake, which is the status quo at the moment. And then lastly, we are also excited about the potential of new LSTs being supported on Moonwell. So Bifrost and StellaSwap both have forum posts up on our governance forum to support VDOT, Bifrost VDOT, and StellaSwap's ST dot. So as y'all know, LSTs allow for users to stake their assets and receive a liquid token in return. And then they can use that liquid representation of their stake position in DeFi apps like StellaSwap, like Moonwell, like Hydra, all while continuing to accrue staking rewards. And there's a bunch of utility that LST is being supported on a lending borrowing app kind of create, including leverage staking. I could go into all those details, but I feel like I'm already kind of over time. So thank you again for creating this space, and excited to get into the discussion phase here in a minute.
Great. Thanks very much, Eli from Moonwell. And last but not least, we have Saya from Starlay. Saya, can you hear us okay?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
Great. Right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Seiya, CEO of Starlay Finance. Starlay Finance, being one of the largest lending protocol within the Polkadot ecosystem, operates on ASA network. I think it's quite similar feature. We have just quite similar feature to Moonwell, but it's basically designed to empower users with the opportunity to interest on deposit and engage in liquidity proposition, as well as to borrow against their assets. So what sets Starlay apart from other lending protocol, such as Aave and Moonwell, is its adoption of the both escrow model and its unique feature called Makai. The both escrow model is a mechanism that involves locking up governance token, that is the lay token, to receive more voting power in the protocol's governance and potentially higher use. So this model incentivizes long-term commitment from our users, and as the longer and more token they lock, the greater their influence and the rewards can be. And as for the Makai function, it's a loop function that allows user to earn a large amount of the lay token by repeating depositing and borrowing. So and our governance token lay is then distributed to users according to the amount spent for both depositing and borrowing. And by repeating this depositing and borrowing, the original asset can be leveraged up to 5 times to obtain a higher APR. Also, we've been building leverage lending, staking flash loan function between LSTs and liquid staking tokens and underlying tokens. So this is basically the same feature that allows user to high APR by repeating and depositing, between LSTs and the original token. And user do it one transaction with the flash loan function. So 2023 summary and 2024. 2023 has been a pivotal year for Starlay Finance. We developed our version call boosted by a grant from incubator, and which allowed us to complete the version call successfully. This achievement has laid a solid foundation for our future development. And one of the major strategic decisions we made last year was to launch on various chains like Alpha0 and Akala. And so Akala, for Akala, we are launching Starlay on Akala this month. And so this expansion plan aligns with our goal to broaden our reach to multi chains. So moreover, we made progress in our governance model, and aiming to on-chain governance model within 2024. So, and now looking ahead to 2024, we have some plans. Our primary focus is to launch Starter on more chains, aiming to maximize our TVL. And another major focus for 2024 is leveraging the XCM technology in the Polkadot ecosystem for cross-chain lending. I believe this will be a good feature in how lending is executed for users. Additionally, just we are targeting the Japanese market. Japan has shown growing interest in stablecoin, easing the regulation from the mid 2023, and we see this as a significant opportunity. Our plan includes listing stable tokens, JPY stable tokens that are in demand in the Japanese market, and capturing this demand and bringing it to the Polkadot ecosystem. That's a brief explanation of Startup Finance. Thanks.
Great. Thanks very much, Seiya. So next, I'll hand it over to Nicholas, who's the DeFi lead at Parity, but also the co-founder of a new venture called Velocity Labs. And in this next section, it's kind of an open mic format where Nicholas will pose some questions and anyone can kind of jump in and answer. But Nicholas, I'll hand over the mic to you, and why don't you just give us a quick background on Velocity Labs? Nicholas, can you hear us? Can anyone hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. Okay. Looks like Nicholas is not maybe having some technical difficulties.
He's requesting to speak. Oh no, it says he's speaker.
He's up as a speaker. Let's give him just another few seconds. I'll also ping him on chat here. Can you hear us? But if not, that's no worries. I can just kick off some questions as well. And if anyone would like to jump in and answer first, go ahead. So let's talk about bridging the usability gap in DeFi, and specifically identifying user needs. So again, this is just an open question. Oh, looks like Nicholas is back. Here we go. Nicholas, can you hear us now, or can you speak? Okay, still having issues there, but I'll just continue on with the question.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, there we go.
Yes,
we can hear you.
Apologies, guys. This is the second time in a row I'm having technical issues. But I just went out and back in. So anyways, I did hear everything Evan said. So let me give you a short intro on me and Velocity. Nicholas Arevalo. I currently lead DeFi for the Polkadot ecosystem from Parity Technologies. As we further this decentralization initiative from Parity and the Web3 Foundation, I'll be founding and leading Velocity Labs. Velocity Labs is going to be a Web3 development and venture studio focused on DeFi on Polkadot. And the two things that we're going to be laser focused in 2024 are going to be improving Polkadot's market infrastructure and accessibility. So very, very aligned and related to the conversation that we're going to have today, and hopefully the things that we build and that we coordinate to help build from Velocity Labs will have a positive impact in all the applications and parachains that we have here today. So that's for Velocity Labs. Now digging into our panel and our conversation today. The cool thing about these Polkadot Dapps series is that it's showing the depth of Polkadot by showing the diversity of applications that we have in our ecosystem and the flexibility that Polkadot enables to build all these different functionalities at different layers from the tech stack. So to give an example here, we have two applications, if I'm not mistaken. So one on top of Moonwell and another one on top of Astar and soon to be on Akala. And then the other ones went the route to build their own parachain. So again, different trade-offs, different go-to-markets, different distribution, and that's going to give a lot of breadth and depth to our conversation. So the main topic that we wanted to touch on today was UX. So UX has been seen as one of the pain points of crypto in general, and specifically speaking, DeFi. More so if you compare us to the Web2 type of UX that most of the people are familiar to. So it's something that most of the applications in the space and specifically in Polkadot have been working to improve. So given that we have different applications, different functionalities, I wanted to kind of make the questions a little bit specific to the functionality of each application in Parachain. So let's start with Centrifuge. In Centrifuge's case, they're focused a little bit more on the institutional side of the user base. So we're curious to hear what you guys are doing in 2024, maybe also what you've done in 2023 to improve the UX of Centrifuge. What are your focuses in terms of UX? Anna?
Hey, yeah, thanks for asking these good questions, because that's actually also my main focus at Centrifuge, is to make UX and UI better, and just like the whole like improving user flows. And so what have we done last year? That already mentioned in the intro is that we really try to be multi-chain. So the protocol is on Centrifuge, which is a Polkadot parachain, but also to enable investments from other chains, including Base, as was mentioned before by another project, Celo, Arbitrum, and we used to start as TinLake back in 2020, if some of you remember, and it was only on Ethereum, and then we built the Centrifuge app. And the Centrifuge app officially launched last year, and you can also access if you click on app.centrifuge.io, which was then based on the Centrifuge chain, which is a Polkadot parachain. And one of the main features that we released last year was also to have an overview, so you can see where you invested, have a portfolio, but also if you are building a cross-chain protocol, you also need to think about the user flow. Okay, how do I enable the user to understand from which chain they are investing? Is it on like an EVM chain? Is it or is it the Centrifuge chain? And then this whole like connecting wallet flow, I think, is super important. Then also the investment flow, we rebuilt and revamped it. Next step is to also improve the pool detail page. Pool detail pages are quite detailed, but it's just really an overview, like what is the real world asset, like what is the investment opportunity, what's the asset class, how much value is locked, what's the token that's behind, and also have a really good overview of the granularity of assets. So you see, okay, this pool has issued 3 assets, which are the NFTs that are representing the real world assets or off-chain assets. And yeah, so this was one of the bigger achievements. And also, like, we launched the app in May, and then we've been really constantly working on improvements, on new features, and then working with these institutional players, for example, like Block Tower, is also a huge advantage for us, because we really have an insight from how what's actually happening in the off-chain world and how to bring these processes on chain. So having their insight is super helpful, and of course that's why also a lot of our focus has been on reporting and accounting, and not the nice UX features you see in the front or in the UI, but that's also where a lot of our energy goes to right now. Yeah. Any other questions?
Thanks, Anna. That was super descriptive. I'm a huge fan of Centrifuge, so to say. You guys have been not only a pioneer for real world assets, which when you started, you guys were the only ones working in this niche, and now that's become a full fledged DeFi vertical. You guys continue to lead the space, and you continue to do it from Polkadot, which I really love. So thank you for providing a lot of details on the things that you've been working on. And what I can hear from your answer is that it's UX. The hard thing about it is that it's striking a balance between giving users just enough details, but also not burdening them with too many details. And I feel that's sometimes the issue that we have in crypto. So I think you guys have been doing a great job on it. So
Thank
following
you.
on with
Thank
let's do it with money markets. So we have Moonwell and Starlay, as you guys both exposed. You kind of offer similar functionalities from your money markets, but you guys are obviously taking a different approach to how you acquire users. So it'll be good to understand what you guys are doing from a UX perspective, making it easy to interact, improving your UI, as Mungo mentioned, having different distribution mechanisms by deploying on different layer twos or different parachains. If you can give us some light on your efforts on UX, that would be great. So let's start with Saya from Interlake. From Starlink.
Yeah, hello. I'm just so so how to bring more user to like Polkadot ecosystem as well as Starlink when it comes to UX improvement. As I just talk a little bit, but we are just trying to implement the cross-chain lending. That means like deposit asset on some chains and borrow token from different another chain. So that is the cross-chain lending, and so we believe just cross-chain lending is to key to bring more people to start ecosystem, and so I just so yeah, by just integrate this feature, we aim to just simplify lending operations across different chains and within the Polkadot ecosystem. Yeah. Other than this, like how to just bring more users, just we are just implemented like just a leverage staking function for like between LSDs and underlying token, and Star Finance aims to just offer high APR to our users by just the adapting leverage lending and staking model, and similar to what's seen with the R-based approach to like LSDs, WSD Ether, or just R Ether. In R-based case, like significant portion of WSD Ether is held by the protocol. I think just 25% of WSD Ether is like held by Aave, and largely the demand from the utilization of leverage lending on the protocol. So yeah, I think just this strategy allows users to increase their investment exposure. And just yeah, we are implementing this lending like leverage staking function, and applying this strategy. Just we offer leverage lending staking, and just along with the higher LTV ratio between LSTs and the underlying token. Yeah, it's quite similar feature of the E-mode from Aave, and I think just this approach is designed to make investment returns more attractive on our platform, and bringing more users who seek higher yields in the Polkadot space. Yeah, that's two approach we are having this year. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that. And if my memory doesn't fail me, I believe Starlay is going to be the first money market to be deployed on two parachains at the same time. So very anxious to see how you're going to leverage XCM to be able to leverage the two parachains in parallel at the same time. Thank you very much. And then moving over to Eli from Moonwell, maybe you can share a little bit more details on the UX. I know you guys have a big focus on governance. Also, now that you have your deployment on base as well, how are you guys managing UX from those two perspectives?
Hey, yes. So basically, from like a mainstream onboarding perspective, I'm of the belief that DeFi is still very much in need of simplification and accessibility improvements. Like we all know the tools are very powerful, but at the same time, they can be shrouded in complexity and be, very intimidating. For example, let's say you're an on-chain dabbler, you discover a new app that looks interesting. You check it out, you're a little confused. You go to the docs, you try to understand. They're filled with jargon and terminology you've never heard before, so you give up. We're focused on counteracting that. So, like I mentioned earlier, in August of 2023, the Moonwell app was completely rebuilt from the ground up to be more intuitive, simple to use and understand. The original app really was built by degens for degens. So I loved it personally, but there was an almost overwhelming amount of market details, non-intuitive terms used. With our new app, we've taken the opposite approach. It's really been built so that almost anyone could be comfortable using it, much more akin to something you might encounter in the Web 2 world. We've toned down a lot of the complex terminology. One example is we used to have health score shown on the old app, and basically, if your health score dropped below 1, you could potentially be liquidated. We've changed that to credit remaining, as that's just a more intuitive term. People were comfortable using CeFi, right, because it was so simple to use. Unfortunately, they custodied users' assets. We saw what happened with Celsius and the like. Basically, our approach now is more of a kind of a CeFi in the front, but DeFi in the back. So that simple, intuitive interface in the front, but then the back end is trustless, non-custodial, etc. Another thing is, there's 1.5 billion people that remain unbanked in the world. Many of these people, number one, don't speak English as their primary language. So, we've taken great efforts in improving our localization. So, and again, I brought up the example of the on-chain dabbler reading the docs. Imagine now you're reading those docs, but English isn't your first language. The docs aren't translated, the dApp's not translated, and then you really could be in a pickle. We've integrated multi-language support. So currently our dApp is now translated into Chinese, Korean, Spanish, Portuguese, and English, with other community members actively working on other translations like Thai, Russian, Ukrainian. The Moonwell Twitter account, we have Moonwell Twitter accounts in 8 different languages, chat groups in our Discord, of course. And also we have made a lot of efforts in our mobile flow. A lot of us that have been in crypto for a while are just like pure desktop native individuals, which is great. But again, I mentioned the 1.4 billion unbanked and just this next generation that's coming on chain. And a lot of them are, mobile first or mobile only. So I think, as an industry, we need to be very cognizant of that and make sure our mobile apps work just as well. And then also on the topic of UX improvements, I am really excited about the innovations coming with, account abstraction, which can further eliminate a lot of this complexity, like seed phrases, key management. It can enable simpler sign-in methods, like sign in with email. And I think those kind of changes that account abstraction can bring are desperately needed to make DeFi more user friendly and secure. I'll end there. Thank you.
Thanks, Eli. That was super insightful, and I completely agree that we as degens and crypto natives we have kind of built callous of that UX, and we kind of ignore the complexities of it just because we're used to it. But if we're expecting to onboard the 1.4 billion unbacked people that you mentioned, we have to make a lot of improvements in abstracting away those complexities that come with these technologies. So thank you very much for sharing some details there. And then following up with Site Guy, so Malte. So prediction markets have been, I would say, a poster child type of use case for blockchain. When you compare them to, let's say, the traditional form of prediction markets or betting apps in the Web2 world, they're very characterized by being obscure in the way that they calculate the probabilities and outcomes and potential payouts for each bet. And blockchain technology kind of offers a very interesting solution to bring a little bit more transparency to predicting outcomes in the future. So, given that, I would say more than the others in this call, you're probably trying to target more of a Web2 type of user. I imagine that UX becomes a very important thing you guys focus on. So, if you can share some details on what you guys are doing with this regard, that would be great.
Absolutely. So first of all, I think Eli gave like a super detailed, almost step-by-step guide on how to improve a lot of things about UX and UI in Web3 applications. And I think like the main point is just DeFi needs to be simplified. Is absolutely correct. You're dealing with these two types of user groups, and one are like the crypto nerds, and they get super excited. Like I'm a backend engineer, like I get excited about the new XCM stuff, but it's very difficult to offer that to somebody who might be more excited about prediction markets than about crypto. And in the end, crypto is kind of supposed to be a vehicle for interesting and useful financial applications. So it's a very difficult problem to solve, and we're lucky to get a lot of user feedback from our app. So our app is constantly evolving, and which is why we're very happy to be a parachain, so that we can kind of shift how things work around. And so what have we been doing? So prediction markets, as you said, are kind of just complex financial objects. And so one of the things we're doing is we're trying to make things simpler. So obviously we want people to have access to the full array of functionality that you possibly can, but we also want it to be easy for people to set up a bet. It should be like making a Twitter post. It's like, this is what I believe. Here's $100. Somebody bet me. You know, that's kind of one direction that we're going in with our upcoming parimutuel markets. So make it like, don't take functionality away, but give casual users a chance to use the app without having to dig through your documentation. You know, it's just not going to happen. So as you kind of go from, well, let's stay there for a second. So casual users or non-crypto native users. So one of the other things we're doing is we are looking into Web2 solutions, kind of, as Eli said, as CeFi in the front, DeFi in the back, kind of in that sense, where where we abstract away the seed phrase handling and the transaction signing, and kind of offer basically a Web2 interface, a Web2 experience of the Zeitgeist app, so that people can go into betting on their beliefs with ease, and don't have to think about how they back up their seed phrase. Also, just onboarding new users, getting them to get tokens is something that you have to work on, especially if you're a parachain. If you're a smart contract on a well-known platform, if you, I don't know, a smart contract on Ethereum, you don't have to worry about where your users get their coins from. we need to get people to actually teleport their tokens over, or we need to find some other solution. So there's kind of like direct credit card buys, that kind of solution where people can acquire funds quickly through some kind of a Web 2 interface. So those are all things that you have to keep in mind. And then as you move towards more complexity, as you move towards like users who want a little more power, there the new developments we've kind of taken is we've really been working on like the trading experience. So we got a new AMM coming up, basically in a couple of days. It'll be online in its full glory, if you will. It's been like a light version has been up for a couple of weeks and has been doing very fine. And that AMM will massively improve the trading experiences, massively decrease slippage, make it easier for people to take the exact trades they want to take. And so like there it just becomes a matter of like produce a very solid product that does one thing really well and then present it really well. And that just requires iteration and iteration and iteration. So that's really the other thing, is to have something that is super solid and doesn't do 10 things at once, just does its one job properly. And so we're very happy to have that now, very soon at least.
Awesome, Malte. Thank you very much for providing all those details on UX initiatives from Zeitgeist. So lastly, let's go over to Interlay. Can you speak, Pankaj, just to make sure you're back online? Yeah, I believe we haven't accepted him as a speaker.
Let me just check here. Can you speak now, Prakash?
Hey, all good, thanks.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Evan. So anyways, so again, with the topic of UX and for Interlay, which the way I see you guys kind of playing out from the beginning of your roadmap, initially you start building out Bitcoin infrastructure with your decentralized and trustless bridge to Polkadot, and now you're kind of going up the tech stack, launching your DeFi hub to make IBTC more useful and extending it to other parachains and networks. So of course, you have different user bases and probably different UX considerations on each of those stages. So we'd love to hear a bit more details on what you guys are focused on for 2024 when it comes to UX on Interlay.
Yeah, sure. Actually, this is right up our alley. So along with emphasis on security and decentralization and Bitcoin finance, we've always made sure that the user experience on our app has been top notch, and we believe we have a very great standard of DeFi UX. Uh, like everyone has mentioned in the space, that UX has been an issue. Um, it is a very complex topic. For example, if someone who's very new to the industry or new to the space, he or she can find it very hard to explore different products. So one of the things that we did was to get Banksa as our on-ramp service. Uh, the on-ramp service had been a prominent concern within the Polkadot ecosystem, creating this barrier for entry for users. So we spearheaded that and made sure that there was a proper on-ramp service in place, not just for us, but for also our partners in the Polkadot space. Um, when we launched our DeFi hub, we made sure that we had the feature of bring your own fees, which means that you could not only pay fees in Inter token, the native token of Interlay, but also in dot slash USDT, as these are assets that more often than not people in the DeFi space have. We also have an onboarding guide. If you open our app for the first time and if you connect your wallet, we have a very elaborated onboarding guide that guides you through different products, different options, and how you can do that in a very step-by-step process. Um, Looking forward at 2024, we are currently working on improving our services in whichever way we can. Any and every constructive feedback is always taken up by our R&D team, and we make sure that we try to inculcate and make the Bitcoin finance process much easier. The other important thing, we're also working on scaling our bridge via liquid staking partners in the Dotsama ecosystem. So yeah, that's about that in terms of Bitcoin finance.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing the details. So, yeah, just to recap the answers of everyone, I see kind of a big focus in improving UX. A lot of the applications are going multi-chain or doing other deployments, which obviously improves on distribution and kind of broadening the user base that you guys can access to. But at the same time, it opens other UX complexities like handling different chains, handling XEM or bridge transfers, and I see all of you guys kind of putting a lot of effort in abstracting those complexities away. So now that we're coming into the hour mark, I think we can start closing it out. We can leave some final remarks from each speaker. You're free to mention anything you're excited about for 2024 or anything you want to mention. So let's start with Anna from Centrifuge. Anna, can you hear us?
Hey, so what I'm really looking forward to is how the UI and just how XCM transfers will come more and more to life in the Polkadot ecosystem, and how different projects will start using it, and also building like a nice UI, and how we can move more and more away from the Polkadot.js UI, because this has been quite painful in the past, I would say 2 years that we've been building on Polkadot. So that's really cool. But then also on the other side, I'm really looking forward to more and more users using the Centrifuge product, and then actually after building now like the base layer of the protocol, to go more into the details, and solving real user problems and see where this takes us. Also with all the multi-chain developments. So yeah, different aspects, but that's my closing remark. And thanks for hosting this, really, and all the good questions. Really good format.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Anna, for joining, and thank you for sharing all the details from Centrifuge. Let's go next to Eli for closing remarks.
Hey, yeah, first I just want to say thank you, a giant thank you to the Dotsama and Beam River, i.e. Moonbeam and Moon River communities, for showing your tremendous support to Moonwell now for almost 2 years. I'd encourage listeners to join our community, discord.gg/moonwellfi. We have 14 different language channels. We're very keen on growing these sub-communities. We have a very friendly, knowledgeable group of mods who are online 24/7 and are happy to support you and answer any questions you may have. If you're a dev and you want to build on top of Moonwell, something we really didn't get into too much, but in this space, but Moonwell is not just a lending and borrowing protocol, but also a DeFi primitive that other apps can build upon. So if you are an engineer, you are a developer, you want to build on top of Moonwell, again, join our Discord. We have engineers from Lunar Labs, my team, and Solidity Labs in the hashtag Developer Talk channel, ready to assist and answer any question you may have. Same goes for those looking to leverage temporal governance, our cross-chain governance framework. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have there. Also, if you're into on-chain governance, as I mentioned, Moonwell has a very active DAO. We have 3 on-chain proposals currently live at the moment. There's a big opportunity to get involved, become a delegate, and help improve the Moonwell protocol. Thank you so much again for hosting this. Let's keep building the best on-chain experiences possible. I really think this next wave of kind of on-chain adoption is going to be led by which networks have the best apps. I know the Polkadot community is very strong in their belief in we have the best tech, and surely like we do have a lot of the best tech, shared security, scalability, yada yada. But for these on-chain dabblers, I'll say, they just want the apps. They want to do cool stuff on-chain, and it's kind of akin to a metaphor would be like, I don't care if my app is on Azure or AWS, right? And I think in the future, users won't really feel the strong loyalty or allegiance to blockchain networks specifically. It's just going to be all about the apps. So we have a bunch of great builders in this call, a bunch of other Twitter spaces coming up to focus on other apps and other sectors of Polkadot. I see Funky in here. Funky built a cool one with Teddy DAO. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on Polkadot right now. So let's just keep our heads down, keep building, and stay positive. So thanks, guys.
Awesome, Eli. Thank you very much for those final regards. Let's go back to Malte from Zeitgeist. Closing remarks.
Well, I think a lot of things are going to come together for both Polkadot in general and the ecosystem in general, and Zeitgeist in particular. I think we're all building towards something here, and we're really seeing it come together now. And so as for us in particular, governance is on everybody's mind, and we'd love to see Zeitgeist play a role in that, using Futaki, letting people put their money where their mouth is when it comes to decisions where the ecosystem is going. We're very excited to see our trading experience taken to a whole new level with the new market maker, with USDC support. And we're really excited to see the community grow. We're excited to see more and more of our markets being created by users and not by us. And with 24, there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff. A US presidential election is coming around. Expect a lot of betting on that. And so we feel like this is really going to be a great year for prediction markets. And we see so much potential in connecting Zeitgeist to other chains, doing the governance thing, for example. So we're really looking forward to seeing this vision of Polkadot can come together. And and I think I speak for all of us here when I say thank you so much for hosting these spaces, and thanks to the audience for listening in. It's been fun.
Thanks, Malte. Appreciate it, and couldn't agree more. Less trust, more truth. I was forgetting that slogan. But yeah, thank you very much for those final regards. And then let's move over to Seiya from Interlay for some final remarks.
First of all, I'd like. I'm sorry, did you say Interlay or Starlay?
Starlay. I
said Starlay. I said Starlay.
Okay.
My bad.
No worry. Anyway, just thanks for having me. I appreciate this opportunity to show Starlay, what is Starlay, and what is our aim in 2024. Thanks again. Looking, ahead to 24, other than just building cross-chain lending, utilizing XCM and leverage staking function, we are just trying to capture Japan's market. Japan's recent regulation shift, create the significant ground for DeFi expansion, right? They are easing right now regulation and trying to more people into DeFi and the crypto world. And the new law effective in mid 2023 and introduces requirements for stablecoin issuance, restricting it to registered bank and trust banks and licensed money transfer agent. And yeah, I think this is a very great opportunity for startup finance. This regulatory environment opens the door to capturing Japanese market, and especially with the a growing demand for JPY stable. Then just Starry will list JPY stable coins and drawing in a segment of users to the Polkadot ecosystem. So 2024 is the year of the bringing more people to Polkadot ecosystem. So please join Star ecosystem, and to stay with the Starrays, encourage Discord and also for more comprehensive updates. Our governance forum are the best source of information. So thanks for having me today, and looking forward to next year.
Thank you very much for joining, and really looking forward to see you guys at Starlay and answer to conquer the untapped and very localized Japanese market. And lastly, Interlay. Some final remarks.
Hey, sure. First of all, thanks a lot for bringing this space together. Really nice to see partners coming up together for the unity of the ecosystem. So on the Interlay side, as I've mentioned, we're working on creative ways to scale our BTC bridge without sacrificing our core values of decentralization and trustlessness. We're working with some ecosystem partners on Polkadot itself, like Bifrost, on adding more assets to our hub. And as mentioned before, Bitcoin has been excluded from the DeFi narrative, so we're always excited and proud to be pioneering and allowing people to use the Bitcoin in the decentralized finance ecosystem. And always a pleasure and an excitement to be involved in the Polkadot ecosystem at the same time. Interlay is proud to be leveraging the Polkadot ecosystem technology and the advantages that come with it. The community has been getting stronger season by season, and it's really great seeing that. Um, Anyone who's interested in Bitcoin finance, they're welcome to join our community. We're live on Discord and Telegram both, and we can definitely help you uh, get up and running on the DeFi hub and start leveraging your Bitcoin. So that's that.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much for those final remarks. It was a pleasure hosting and moderating this space. As for me, all of this is a lot of inputs for the things that we're working from velocity. The accessibility of the ecosystem is one of the biggest pain points that we have to onboarding both liquidity and users, and all the things that you guys are looking to improve. Velocity is also looking to facilitate from the infrastructure and tooling layer. So please follow us, VLabs, in Twitter, and we'll definitely be putting more information in the coming weeks on the Polkadot forum as well. So thanks again for sharing all those insights. This was on part 2 of our Polkadot Dapps series. Stay tuned for part 3, and we'll continue to showcase all the diversity of applications, functionalities, geographies, and user bases that Polkadot offers. So stay tuned. Once again, thanks for joining, and see you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone had a Nice holiday break. Everyone's back on the grind. Happy New Year to everyone. And welcome to the second Twitter Space X Space on Polkadot Dapps. And today we're discussing all things DeFi in the Polkadot ecosystem. If you weren't aware already, there's now a Dapps page on Polkadot's official website, polkadot.network. You can go to the top of the website, click on Ecosystem, and then from there, click on Dapps, and you'll see a directory of all of the Dapps in the Polkadot ecosystem. Before I go any further, someone just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Yes, okay, perfect, great. And be sure to follow Polkadot because in the coming weeks, we're gonna have another space on DeFi. We're gonna have a space on gaming, social media, music, NFTs, and much more. So be sure to follow Polkadot, stay up to date with all of those spaces. As I mentioned, today's space is on DeFi, but before we get started, let's get some more listeners in here. If you wouldn't mind just retweeting this space, giving it a like, commenting on it, DM it to a friend. Let's get some more listeners in here. You know, a rising tide lifts all boats. When these projects succeed, the ecosystem succeeds, we all succeed. So help spread the word. Let's get this space trending. I'd also like just to mention to follow all of today's panelists on Twitter. Click on their account, follow them, follow their projects, support them. I'll also give the disclaimer that nothing in here today is financial advice. Always do your own research. And with that, let's jump into the intros and introduce today's speakers. So we have Anna from Centrifuge. Centrifuge is the platform for tokenizing, managing,